My Lords, I will speak briefly in favour of this amendment in the name of the noble lady Baroness Cumberledge. And like my preceding speaker, I'm aiming to add extra angles, extra approaches, rather than to repeat what's already been said, but I would associate myself essentially with everything that's already been said. But as I was thinking about this amendment, I was reflecting on a session in the House, I believe it's this week, although it all blurs slightly after one looks at a screen for long enough, when Noble Lord, the Minister Lord Bethell, was being questioned by one of his noble friends about why a whole series of written questions about COVID had not been answered. And the fact is, of course, that all aspects of our health system are currently under enormous pressure. And the proposition that I put is that this is, as I was arguing in an earlier amendment earlier this week in this bill, that this is actually an amendment that makes the government's job easier. It carves off a recognisable, obvious piece of work that doesn't have to be put into, done by already horribly overworked, stretched systems, and means that something can be done, something can be ticked off, it can be said, right, this is under control, it's being managed, it's being done in a way that doesn't draw too heavily on that existing overstretched system. So that's the first point I wanted to make. The second point I want to make, and I feel like I need to apologise to the noble lady Baroness Cumberledge by bringing this up, but as a former newspaper editor, I did, when I was thinking about reports and what happens to reports, have to go back to the Leveson inquiry conducted by Lord Justice Leveson. And I can remember when I first read that report, I thought about how that had been carefully structured to put aside some of the more difficult areas, particularly the issue of media ownership concentration. And the noble Lord preparing the report had tried very hard to create something that was implementable, that was manageable, that had some chance of being delivered. Now, I think we all know that that's not what happened. And so I can understand that anyone asked to take on a huge job of work like the noble lady Baroness Cumberledge did with this, must ask themselves the question, if I devote so much time, energy and effort to this work, will it actually be delivered? And I said before that the Patient Safety Commissioner was possibly the most important amendment. In some ways, this certainly vies with it. This is about delivery. We know that there are kind of three reasons to call an inquiry. One might be to find information. One might be to reassure the public. Another might be to create a plan of action. Those are the three, often stated reasons. But sometimes there's a fourth reason, perhaps sometimes isn't the right word, perhaps often might be a better word, to kick something into the long grass. And it's crucial that the issues uncovered by the noble lady are not kicked into the long grass, that the very clear, obvious, important recommendations are not lost. So, my lords, I support this amendment, and should it need to go further, I will continue to support it. Thank you.